want that. Special delivery. I need that. Special delivery. Welcome to another episode of the Special Delivery Damn Near Daily podcast. I'm your host, Special, and this is episode number 29 of the Special Delivery 30 podcast challenge, where I'm just trying to give you 30 podcasts in however long it takes. If you're new here, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever you're listening on, and check out other episodes with people like SZA, Vince Staples, and so many more. But this episode is with Alina Baraz. We broke down everything you don't know and should know about her latest project, The Color of You, including how she came up with the title, what she was listening to while she was recording it, working in studio with Khalid, the space and water themes throughout the project. We even broke down some lyrics, and we have a pair of tickets to Blurry Vision Festival in the Bay Area. So you're going to want to listen to that code word and tweet me at Special Says. Once again, tweet me that code word at Special Says on Twitter, and then you'll be entered to win a pair of tickets to Blurry Vision Festival. But let's get into it. I got Alina Baraz on the line. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
I'm so excited to talk about this. Now, on Coming to My Senses, you say you're a color that don't exist.
Throw me in a deep end, see if I can swim in you. All night, trying to paint a picture of you in my mind. But you're a color that don't exist. What are you? I hear sounds you make with my lips. What are you?
Did that inspire the title?
It did. The day I was recording that, I just right there knew that I wanted, the colors to be a part of the project. That was one of the last songs that I wrote for the project, so it was just the right timing kind of thing, and I knew I wanted it to be based around pretty much that song.
Dope. And then you talk about how this process to make The Color of You was kind of like therapy. You would go in and record in real time, kind of doing the exact timeline. What was the most difficult song to record?
I don't really, one doesn't really come to mind this time around. It was, even with Urban Flora, I remember, to me, it was so hard, the idea of capturing a song. To me, that was just the worst moment, because I felt like I could never actually capture what I felt. But whereas this was so much in real time, I felt like I recorded it that day, I wrote it that day, and it wasn't hard to translate at all, because I didn't really have a demo to go off of. It was just the most purest take that you were going to get.
That must be such a freeing process, because the thing with therapy is it can be very difficult or really very easy. So it seems like it was an easy therapeutical thing. So that's super dope.
Yeah, these ones just flew out of me, because I felt so much of a type of way that day that it was very easy.
I love that. And then on I Don't Even Know Why, though, there's that mint condition sample with What Kind of Man Would I Be? And that song kind of talks about temptation too. So did you kind of take the sample into account when writing the song, or was it a completely separate thing?
We were more so in the studio, and we were listening to Mint Condition. I kind of always just turn on an artist before I make a song. And we were listening to Mint Condition, and it wasn't so much the writing of the song, but the emotion that pulled out from just hearing that guitar and hearing that breakdown. I knew that was the right vibe, and so we just followed it.
I love the thought of, because a lot of people kind of separate themselves from other music to kind of go into their zone, but I love the idea of listening to other artists to find those zones. What were some of the other artists that you were listening to while making this project?
This time around was actually very different, because making Urban Flora, I didn't listen to anybody, because I felt like I was just still too it was just the first time, so I didn't want to absorb too many sounds, whereas this time around I was listening to a lot of people, like Mint Condition. I love Debarge. I love now people too, like Daniel Caesar, Jordan Rakei, don't know if I said that right. So just like very, very many people.
And speaking of Urban Flora, you were sending files back and forth with Galaxias on Facebook, right?
Right, Facebook Messenger.
Super crazy. Now with this one, you were in studio with the producers. Were you also in studio with Khalid and Jada?
I was. I got to record with Khalid this time around, whereas even for Floating I did, for Electric, we were still in 2 different states. So yeah, it's super cool. It's like night and day, like working in your room and then suddenly going to these sessions where there's all these people. But I think that's one of my favorite parts. But I didn't get to record with Jada. She was in Denmark.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And speaking of floating, I love the lyric "skinny dipping in my head."
Sure, I'm still breathing. Staring at my thoughts floating up to the ceiling. I'm swimming in everything you said. I'm thinking about jumping in it. Instead, I got you skinny dipping deep inside my head. It's in the way you see.
Did you think of that, or did Khalid, or how did that come about?
I think we wanted to capture a moment. Like for me, I was very inspired by capturing the moment of maybe it's infatuation, but maybe it's like right before love, like you really fall, and where you're kind of still curious about that person. And that's just kind of like a cheeky little lyric.
No, I love it because a lot of the lyrics on here are such an illustration. Like you really paint pictures for us that are pictures that we've never really seen before. Like the thought of skinny dipping in my head is so real, but it's never been painted like that before. So I think that's super cool. The other themes that I noticed on this project were space and water. Was that a conscious thing or just something that kind of flew out of you?
Yeah, it wasn't very conscious. Like I've always been in love with water. I'm very inspired by water and by space. Like those are 2 things that I kind of always like to talk about, and I can sometimes just better understand myself when I use those things.
I love that. That's super cool. And then what else do you want to tell the people about The Color of You?
It's very rare. It's a very special project. Like we talked about before, you are getting the most vulnerable side of me because it's not like I'm not hiding behind any metaphor in this time around. Like it's very conversational and it's very direct, and I think that's what makes it so special. I've always kind of written from a reflective point of view, and this is very direct. And yeah, it's basically just a color. It's someone or something that comes into your life, and you can't really define it, and so I don't really have any comparisons for it, and so I kind of view them as a color that's just I've never seen before.
And then you're coming back to the Bay for the Blurry Vision Festival.
Yes.
What are you most excited to perform back in the Bay? What song?
I love performing I Don't Even Know Why, though. I think that's still just like a very, like, not open wound, but like just very fresh. I just wrote it a couple weeks ago before that project came out, so I still love, like, that's still very emotional to me. And I felt most liberated writing it. And so performing it, I feel that emotion every time.
Oh, so good. And then we have a giveaway for Blurry Vision tickets. What do you want the code word for people to tweet me to win these Blurry Vision tickets?
Alina Season.
Yes, Alina Season with the SDN?
Yeah.
Yes, Alina Season. So tweet me Alina Season. I'll give you more information at the end of this as well, so people can win these Blurry Vision Festival tickets. Anything else you want to tell the people?
I would not be here without you. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy The Color of You.
Yay, yay, yay. And once again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I'm so excited to share this with the people and talking about the project. Thank you, thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
No problem. And of course, thank you so much for checking out this episode of Special Delivery. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that follow or subscribe button on whatever you're listening on. And you heard that code word, Alina Season. Tweet that to me at Special Says, and you'll be entered to win those Blurry Vision Festival tickets. Once again, tweet Alina Season to me at Special Says on Twitter to be entered to win those Blurry Vision Festival tickets. And if you just enjoyed the show and want to tell me your favorite part or just say hi, tweet me at Special Says. As always, this episode is dedicated to Marlon. Please do what you can to stop senseless acts of gun violence.